Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Muller here. How is everybody doing? I hope all of our friends are doing all right in Florida. I hope you're all getting the supplies you need, getting your power back on, getting any sort of things to get your households back in order. I know this can be a very tough thing. This was quite a storm. It will be studied for many years and decades to come. One thing I want to note, I think this will go down as a Category 5 storm, 160, 165 mile per hour winds. When you factor in all the recon data, surface observations, wave heights, storm surge, pressure, that sort of thing, I think this will go down as a 5, but we'll see. You know, stranger things have happened, but yeah, this storm did do damage very similar to a 5. But here we go. Where is it headed? Yeah, it's back to being a hurricane, unfortunately. It's re-strengthened, and yeah, this will be heading up the coastline here towards South Carolina. What kind of impact are we looking at? Are we looking at more surge, or is rainfall, inland freshwater flooding, going to be the main concern? And just how far north will this system go? I'll give you all the details here. And here we go. Look at this. We are taking a look at a strengthening storm. Once again, there is the eye. Yeah, the southern edge of it is kind of exposed. Not a lot of higher cloud tops, but look at this. This is where all the convection is really occurring on the northeast and the east side of the system. So take a look at that three-dimensional view. Oh, this is really interesting. Just exiting the Florida coastline here. All right, so taking a look at Hurricane Ian here. Thankfully, it's moving away from Florida. It's going to become eastern Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina's problem. Yeah, I think it could head up towards 80, 85, 90 miles per hour just before landfall. This is 2 p.m. Friday. So it looks like it'll be making landfall just east of Charleston here. So eastern side, McClellanville, Pawleys Island, Myrtle Beach, Carolina Beach. Yeah, you're going to be on the eastern side of the system. There could be some surge with this. So yeah, we're going to watch out for that. But let's take a look as we put this into motion. Most of the shower and thunderstorm activity. This is 11 p.m. Thursday night, 2 a.m. Friday morning. Here it is. You can see all of these feeder bands. The main eastern feeder band. You can see too, let's zoom out. Yeah, there's the wind field. It is expanding here. So yeah, we just have an expanding wind field with the system, and it's strengthening at its inner core. Will not return to major hurricane, thankfully, but look at this. As we head into Friday at 8 a.m., the rainfall is heading pretty far north here. So Fayetteville, Charlotte, all the way up into Lynchburg, Richmond, Virginia, just south of D.C. Look at this. Friday at 2 p.m., we're really getting in on the act of some of these heavier rain bands moving in pretty far north pretty quickly here. And look at this. 5 p.m. Friday, 8 p.m., we're getting into places like Maryland, southern Pennsylvania, eastern Kentucky over here. We're going to have two areas. This is going to break off into two pieces of energy. First piece of energy with the main system, and then a second piece tries to reform over here. This is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I'll show you how it plays out on the Euro and the HRRR mesoscale model as well. But look at this. This is 5 a.m. Saturday morning. Yeah, the GFS is kind of hinting at this moving a bit farther north, kind of overrunning Interstate 80 here. This is a bit troubling, but we have an area of high pressure that's trying to remain in control here, but it is being overrun here. Look at that. New York City, Philadelphia, Long Island, southern New England. Yeah, we could be looking at some problems here. So let's continue to put this into motion. See how your Saturday is going to shape up. Look at that. The Ohio Valley over here is just a complete washout north of Charleston, West Virginia. But yeah, 8 a.m. as you're waking up Saturday morning, you may have some showers here in places like Binghamton, Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, New York City, Albany, Catskills, Poconos. Look at this. Some heavy rain out here on Long Island. So yeah, maybe putting a dent in the drought here. And let's continue to put this into motion. That moves out pretty quickly, though. Look at this. By 2 p.m., you're drying out here in upstate New York, northeast Pennsylvania. You're just left with a couple clouds, though. So there might be some low clouds and fog hanging on. And then here in the Ohio Valley as well with the main circulation. So this, as you can see, this breaks into two pieces of energy. Up towards Boston, 2 p.m. Saturday, you will be looking at some rain as well. And as we continue to put this into motion, here's 5 a.m. Sunday morning. Yeah, this might try to come back north here. So this other main area of low pressure starts to weaken. and we start to see some sort of low pressure here take over. And we'll have to see if this backlashes parts of New Jersey, Long Island, and New England. Look at it. Comes pretty close Sunday to Nantucket here. Providence, Rhode Island. It could become a subtropical system in nature at some point or another here. And that races off to the northeast as it gets caught in the westerlies. Now, what's going on here with the rest of the tropics? Well, yeah. This is our next problem. We're going to keep an eye on this here. There's a 30% chance through day 5, but look at this. This is crazy. This could be a hurricane in the Cape Verde Islands. Now, one thing to note with these systems, they do seem to recurve. Look at that. That's crazy. That looks like a hurricane by Monday, October 3rd. So we're looking, and we're really making up for lost time out here in the Atlantic, but it does start to recurve north here. This is Tuesday, October 4th. And as you can see, these strengthening systems, they always tend to go towards the north like this. All right, so look at this. Wednesday, October 5th. This is our next system to watch out here in the Atlantic. We are not done with hurricane season yet. No, we are not. And you can see this is by Friday, October 7th. We got this vigorous system here moving through the Lesser Antilles. Here's Puerto Rico up here. Here's Hispaniola over here. So yeah, we have to watch this. This could be our next named system after that hurricane out by the Cape Verde Islands potentially. And look at this. This brings more heavy rains to places like Puerto Rico, Hispaniola. This is Sunday, October 9th. This is the trend. And will this actually develop into something? Well, let's see how far we can take this out and see if it is going to be a threat to the U.S. East Coast. We'll take a look here. Yeah, it kind of breaks off here around Hispaniola, and it has a hard time at this point. So I think the model's having a little bit of trouble with this. Models do have trouble around the island of Hispaniola here often. It can often be a graveyard for tropical systems, but we'll keep an eye on it here. All right, so taking a look here at the HRRR model, look at all of this yellow. These are all tropical storm warnings, and then closer to the coast here, you have hurricane warnings in effect. So let's see what the HRRR model has up its sleeve here. It's interesting to see when we get so close to the landfalling system. These mesoscale models can pull out some prizes, but look at this. This is towards 5 a.m. on Thursday. You can see here is the eye, and look at all this moisture heading to the north here. So yeah, we're heading towards Myrtle Beach, Charleston. It's going to make landfall somewhere in between Myrtle Beach and Charleston here. So let's continue to put this into motion and see. Yep, HRRR model is bringing it in. This is noon hour. Here is the eye. You can see this big ball of convection. Charleston, you're going to have tremendous rainfall rates up to Myrtle Beach. There's going to be the wind field with this system is very, very large and expansive. But look at this. We're going to be getting torrential rains. You know, I'm really worried about the rainfall aspect of the storm. Momentarily, I will have rainfall totals and maps out for you. But look at this. This is going to be the big deal. Yeah, you're going to have some surge come in with this system as you do all hurricanes. So yeah, on the east side of the system, if you're in North Carolina, in eastern South Carolina, definitely keep an eye on the surge. But this moisture, you have an endless conveyor belt of tropical moisture coming out of the Bahamas here and down towards Cuba. This is going to continue to move to the north. Watch this. This is basically your future radar here. And look at making landfall 3 p.m., 4 p.m. eye wall, pretty much making it into eastern Myrtle Beach here. And look at this. We line up torrential rains, and we're just going to have these feeder bands feeding right into the outer banks of North Carolina here. Look at this, up towards Kitty Hawk, Virginia Beach. You get in on the act here. And look at this. We could be seeing rain up to Washington, D.C. by 6 p.m. Friday. Look at this. Let's see how far north the HRRR takes this. So look at this. Yeah, an expansive area of cloudiness too, taking a hold. You'll start to get some high cirrus clouds and higher level clouds up here in the northeast as well. But look at that, 10 p.m., southern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, you'll be getting in on the rain. But you're going to have tremendous flooding problems here, especially in North Carolina, heading into Virginia here. Watch this as we continue to put this map into motion. This is midnight Saturday. You have the center of circulation making it into North Carolina, but at this point, look at all of this copious amounts of moisture heading towards the northeast here. And on the northwest side, definitely want to keep an eye on flooding here in West Virginia and eastern Kentucky as well. So let's continue to put this into motion. Yeah, this is 3 a.m. Saturday. We got a little bit of a problem here. The shield is a bit further north here than it was on the GFS. So the HRRR has seen something, maybe the high pressure retreating quicker. But look at this. Saturday, 7 a.m. rainfall here developing across much of the northeast. We're going to have to keep an eye on this because many of these areas have a low chance of rain. But look at this. This becomes kind of convective in nature. This 10 a.m., 11 a.m., 1 p.m. Look at this. This is some pretty heavy precipitation. And look at this. It almost takes on, there we go, the comma shaped. And look where all this moisture is heading on the HRRR. Parts of the northeast. So this is why I wanted to keep an eye on this system because, you know, sometimes we get these systems head north and they become a flooding problem. It looks like the heaviest rain, though, staying off of New England. All right, so here it is, the Euro, King Euro, taking the system as a 977 millibar low. Could this thing get to a Category 2? It's possible. Stranger things have happened with this storm. As you know, there is a Gulf Stream current here. But nevertheless, it's interesting because, you know, very close. It looks like the Euro might be a tad bit west than the GFS. But there's that big ball of rain moving in, and there it is, landfall Friday afternoon. There's early Saturday. It's heading into a very similar region than the GFS. I want to show you relative humidity. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I showing you this? Well, this shows the dry air as it wrapped around the system. Look at this. As it makes landfall, that dry air is still going to be trying to catch up with the center of circulation here. This hurricane's been fighting this ever since it got to Central Florida and moved off the coast into the Atlantic. So there you have it. And this was not happening initially when the storm was a strong Category 4 making landfall. So the dry air was delayed, which helped the system really blossom. But there it is. Dry air moving up into parts of the Mid-Atlantic. This is later Saturday morning. So we'll see if that takes effect. And let's take a look here at the northeast. So what do we got going on here? How far north does the Euro take this precipitation? Well, here we go. It's interesting. Every model run, the Euro takes it up just around New York, Pennsylvania border, Binghamton area, and then over towards Providence, Rhode Island. So we'll have to keep an eye on these factors. We could be having some heavy rain and some bouts of rain for you Saturday into parts of Sunday. Look at that. There's the area of low pressure, main consolidation point. And look at this. Yeah, we might end up with a rainy weekend over parts of the northeast. And I wanted to show you rainfall totals we've seen so far with Hurricane Ian. Look at this. Most of the heavy rain fell between major population centers. You can see 9.4, Sarasota. Tampa really got off easy here with 3.5. Palm Bay, 4.5. Orlando's the big winner, 11.8. But look at some of these areas north of Fort Myers. You're into the 15 plus. South of Daytona Beach here. Some of these areas saw upwards of 20 inches of rain. So this is just terrible news here. I hope you have a chance to dry out at this point. All right, so King Euro here. What are we looking at for precipitation? This takes us through the weekend. Well, actually, let's back that up just a little bit to Sunday evening. There we go. So this gives us a snapshot. Here's the Euro. I'll compare that to the GFS and the HRRR model. We like to do some comparisons here. Now take a look at this. South Carolina, we're getting into amounts of 6, 7, 8 inches here. Maybe locally higher, 9 to 10 towards Myrtle Beach, Charleston area. Widespread 3 to 5 inch amounts here in North Carolina. I think this is underdone. I think we could see amounts closer to 6, 8 inches locally higher. Look at this. Up along the coastline here, Long Island, an inch to an inch and a half. This could be enough to help, not bust your drought, but, put a dent in it, so to speak. And, this is interesting up here. There's kind of a shadow up here towards northeast Pennsylvania, upstate New York. I really think high pressure is going to try to win out here. So that's, these are the two pieces of energy, and look at right in between. we got that dry slot there. So yeah, we'll see some heavy rain up and through parts of West Virginia and into southeastern Ohio as well. All right, so taking a look at the GFS here, and we'll stop Sunday evening there. Oh, there we go. Sunday evening. Take a look at this. So the GFS, even though it showed some rainfall up in here, Binghamton, Albany, New York, it's high pressure, I think, is really winning out, even on the precipitation map of the GFS here, with high pressure dominating up here. But look at this. Yeah, 6-8 inches here into parts of this oranges and yellows here in eastern South Carolina, western North Carolina. That's with that axis of the heaviest precipitation coming. Still think the totals are underdone here in eastern North Carolina, where I think you'll approach 6, 7, 8 inches pretty easily, unfortunately. And look at this, widespread 1 to 3 inch amounts up in here, parts of southeastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Virginia, Maryland. I think some of these areas will get more like 2 to 4 inches of rain too. I think some of these are underdone, but look at how it seems like you can see the dry air working here. You got 2 pieces of energy like I showed you. All right, HRRR model, our mesoscale model. Interesting. So, yeah, there's the northern extent of the precipitation. It's pretty much unanimous agreement here. It differs, though, on amounts. So, it's interesting to note here that the mesoscale model's outputting solid 4 to 6, locally higher 6 to 8. I think the HRRR model is got this pretty well down. I think this is probably the closest solution to how I think it's going to play out here. I still think some of these totals up here are underdone. I think you'll be more towards, you're still getting up into the 6 to 8 inch range up here into isolated parts, but I think you'll see widespread 3 to 4 inches up into parts of central and northern Virginia, southeastern Pennsylvania. I think you'll easily see an inch, but yeah, most likely down here towards the coast, this is where you'll see the 6 to 8 inch amounts. So in the eastern Pacific, we have Tropical Storm Orlene. What is going to happen with this system? Well, it is going to strengthen into a Category 1, potentially Category 2 hurricane. Look at this. GFS taking a little bit to the right of the eastern track of the National Hurricane Center, but look at this. Yeah, it's going to target a lot of the resort towns up here. Let's just see. Wow. Yeah, so everything north of Puerto Vallarta here. So yeah, if you're up in this area, this could become quite a formidable hurricane. Look at this. This is by Sunday at 5 a.m. October 2nd, and it makes landfall right around afternoon hours. Look at that. And heading inland towards Durango there. So yeah, it becomes a big rainmaker inland. And what do we have for the Western Pacific here? Well, let's take a look. Do we have any typhoons? Well, we have Typhoon Roke out here. It's not looking like it's going to affect any land. That's great news. What's going on over here in the Philippines and Vietnam? Well, let's take a look here. As we put this into motion, we'll see just how much activity there is. Thankfully, you know what? There is not a lot of activity. The Western Pacific is really starting to quiet down here. And if you see, look at the timestamp up there, October 10th. Yeah, it becomes a little more active towards then, but you know what? It doesn't look half bad. Until you get to some of these areas out here in the Western Pacific, you start to see some of these systems that could resemble typhoons, but you know what? This time of year, you're starting to get the jet stream protecting areas like Japan. And look at this. Joe Dreyos here from the Johnson City, New York area. A heavy rainer was moving through Johnson City, New York on this past Sunday. Look at that. Those are some torrential heavy rainers in the area and receiving up to a quarter, half, 3/4 of an inch in some of these gully wash heavy rainers. Nice capture there, Joe. Everybody loves a heavy rainer. And here we go, John from Manchester Road, Oldham, UK, near Oldham College. Beautiful sky here. Take a look at this, September 29th. Nice capture there, John. Beautiful blue skies, puffy white cumulus clouds. Can't get much better than that. All right, so let's take a look at the steering currents here for Ian. Friday morning, high pressure building to its north and east off the coast. Where does Ian go? Well, let's take a look. King Euro shows that Ian has no place to go. It's pretty similar on all the other models too. Its driving forces are too high here. As you know, high pressures spin clockwise. So essentially what you have going on here is Ian is forced northwestward initially. So let's take a look here. Eventually Ian tries to start finding a weakness. Here's a big mega high up here in north central part of North America, and our subtropical high starts to retreat a little bit to the east here. And Ian finds a little bit of a weakness in that and starts to slide off the coast towards Wednesday. Let's see if I can get my marker there. There we go. Wednesday, October 5th. So yeah, we're going to start to see Ian, or whatever's left of Ian, slowly come absorbed into the westerlies and move northeast before a bigger trough really starts to kick in across the northeast. But it is interesting to note by this point, Friday, October 7th, look at this mega subtropical high, and we have another ridge here. It's like a mega ridge with the tropics. This looks more reminiscent of, say, the latter part of summertime. So let's take a look. See, that could promote a very hospitable environment for tropical systems going forward. Extended outlook from hometown viewers. The growing season is over from Binghamton to Wilkes-Barre, Scranton's upper Susquehanna River Valley. I hate to say it, but most of the colder sheltered valleys will be getting down to 32, potential freezing. Most frost advisories are in effect across the region. So you will be waking up to a very frosty or freezing start for your Friday morning. You will make it up towards 66 with breaks of clouds and sun. Quite nice in the afternoon. And then look at that. Clouds roll in Saturday with the outer effects of what's left of tropical storm Hurricane Ian at this point. 61. We'll have a few showers, better chance in northeast Pennsylvania. It won't be an all-day washout, but watch out for some rain. And look at that. We clear it out by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, getting into the mid-60s and lows in the 30s. As always, I want to thank you for joining me for this edition of Weather Eastern and Hurricane Eastern. Don't forget Facebook, social media, MediaMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern, also Susquehanna Weather, also MediaMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com, Twitter @WeatherEastern. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell button if you haven't already. Question or comment down below. Let's keep the weather conversation going. Thanks for joining me.